Hello and welcome to Some Old Guys Let's Play Demon Souls. This is number 12 in our Creating a Mage series. Our Mage is pretty much created. We're going to pick up a couple of boss souls that are good for some spells. Poison Cloud out of this world and then Death Cloud out of the next world. But this is undoubtedly most people's hated zone. Lots of ledges to fall off. The enemies can just knock you right off a ledge real easy. But it's not a difficult zone to get through if you just kind of take your time and take it easy. So we'll get into it and see how it goes. All right. We're going to be traveling into the 5th Archstone, which is the Plague World, Poison and Plague World. The first part we won't need the Sodden Ring for, but the Swamp of Sorrows we will definitely need the Sodden Ring for. But that will be the next edition, or the next episode. So in this one we are all set. We've got our spell set. I think Fire Spray is more valuable in this zone. Short distances, you can shoot while moving. It has its advantages. And the vast majority of the enemies in this zone are susceptible to fire damage. We are taking Soul Ray and Soul Arrow also, and warding. Warding is crucial. These guys have a rush attack that does like 5 or 6 hits that for most people will take you down to less than a quarter health. So we're going to go ahead and get into this and see how it goes. So you have lots of areas where you're walking up boards like this. Most of them, if you fall off, you're going to be dead. Now we'll run over here on this other side and grab this item. And you'll really need to pay attention to your warding through here, or pay real close attention to your range. You want to hug this wall right here because they're going to try to throw boulders down on you. Well, they usually try to throw boulders down on you. Now, right here behind all this, that down there is a Morning Star. Really not of much use to this character, so I'm going to leave it be. But right here is a bridge that you can kick down to get over to the high side over there, but we'll get to that in a minute. Like I said, these enemies aren't real strong, but they have some pretty powerful attacks that will knock you off of ledges relatively easily. If there was poison in this game, I'd say they're poise break attacks, and because that's exactly what they do. They knock you off balance and then knock you off a ledge. The guys with the flaming spears are definitely one of the enemies you want to avoid. As they will definitely rear you back on your heels and knock you off a ledge. So I like to come down this way and clear it to the first suspension bridge and then go back up across. There's several items on the other side. There's basically two paths to get to the same point. Now this guy behind us is going to wake up. And he tried to do that berserk attack. And these guys up here, they're going to ambush you as well. And that's one of the things that this place is known for, is ambushes. There are ambushes everywhere as you go through this. Any enemies you can take care of. He almost got me. But anyone you can take care of from an elevated spot before you go into a zone is definitely to your benefit. There's a hole that'll drop you down in front of a couple of guys with flaming spears, so you can take care of them. I'm going to try this because, whoop. It consumes a lot less FP, I think, than fire spray does, and appears to do more damage. And there should be one more guy down there by my count. There he is. Go ahead and get him. Okay, so before I go down, there's items above me where those two guys came at me from. So we're going to go back up and back across, and we will end up back at this point. But just to show you where those items are at, one of them, if I'm not mistaken, is another ring that you need for the ring trophy. I believe it's the Ring of Magical Dullness, which improves your magic defense, but in turn decreases your magic attack power. So a lot of people will drop off this ledge, which you can do, but it's safer to walk back here behind this board. And then we have a drop through right here. And those two guys that ran up on us dropped off this platform. This should be our ring, I believe. Yeah, the ring of magical dullness. Okay, so just to be on the safe side, I'm sure this zone is clear down here. Go ahead and throw warding on. Now, this spot right here is a shortcut to get to some items over there. The problem with the shortcut, you make that drop, there are 3 enemies waiting to ambush you down there, and then there's a stack of them before you get to the items. So we may come back and give it a shot, see how it works out. With warding, it may not be too bad. Out. I'm stuck and I can't. That camera got me. I couldn't get up on the wall. And that happens periodically. Nothing too major anyway. But you can be poisoned by these guys as well. So keep that in mind. That item over there, yeah, you're going to come in here and you're going to get ambushed. If you run in there and get to the item and pick it up, you get stuck in the pickup animation. As soon as you stand up, both of those guys are ready to come get you. So now that guy over there you can actually get from here. That way he doesn't run up and hit you in the back while you go in here. There's also another guy down there after you pick up that item. You want to give these guys plenty of room. Because they will poison you when they explode. They're ticks. If you get right up on them and destroy them, they explode. And then you end up being poisoned. Which, as soon as now what's down here is the Saint's armor. This guy right here is going to wake up as we get down there. Yep, he's probably not going to do it till we actually pick the item up. And again, it's one of those places where they'll run up behind you and knock you off the ledge if you're not fully expecting them to and ready for them. I've been knocked off the ledge by that guy a few times just because I forgot where I was at. Now this next little section, this is one of the reasons fire spray is so valuable in here. We're going to come down these ramps, and there's going to be several rats. I don't remember how many, 10 or 15 of them. I think 10, somewhere around 10, maybe a little less. But they all move real fast and start to converge on you. This is where fire spray is really, truly an invaluable spell to have. Now, this lady right here, she is a vendor. She sells a few unique items, poison arrows being one of them. To this character, it's not a big deal. You have to be careful not to aggro her. So in places like this, you can't use or don't want to use spells like Firestorm, because then you have an aggroed NPC that you'll lose. It will affect your world, your personal tendency, and it will also give you another enemy to have to deal with. Now there's another little cheeky one hides down here. Alright, it looks like we got them all. Now that shortcut over there, that takes care of a couple of those guys, but there's several more over there. So, but when you run across those boards, if you haven't dealt with these rats, then you're kind of stuck on that skinny board trying to deal with those rats. So let's go over here and see if we can't knock this shortcut down. I'm sorry, I thought I had picked that item up. Apparently one of the enemies had dropped something. So before you make this drop, you want to make sure your health is full and your MP is full, and cast warding. Because like I said, there's 3 of these guys in here. So warding, fire spray, and top us off. So you want to get away from those guys just as quick as you can. There's usually 3 in here. One of them sometimes backs off of the ledge and suicides. And there are a couple of these guys laying on the ground that you cannot target or do damage to until they wake up and start moving. This guy here being one of them, and I believe that guy there being the other one. So warding back on, because they are going to make an attempt at us. And that's a blessed mace. It does it regenerates MP as you carry it, and it is a nice weapon for a faith build because it scales off of the faith stat. Increases both the amount of healing it does as it levels up and increases the amount of damage it does to enemies. So now we can, now with that shortcut open, we can actually, if something happens and we have to come from the start, we can come all the way down this side, not even have to worry about that other side. Just be aware that these rats are down here. So, all right, this next guy is a little, we might have to cheese him a little bit. It's our first giant depraved. You can barely see him over there moving, but as we walk out on this bridge, we're gonna get ambushed by a rock avalanche, boulder avalanche. So we'll see if we can get this guy taken care of. And we'll need one of those in that. And there's also two guys that are going to drop down behind us. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Right here, a ladder will appear when you're in a pure white world tendency. And that gives you access to a faith-based spear called Estrella. There's a spear guy usually right inside. There he is. Back across here. Now, once we walk all the way into this room, we should get jumped from behind. Yep, looks like we didn't trigger him. But there is a flaming spear guy right here. And warding helps against the fire-based attack, but it does not, or against the physical attack of the spear, but it does nothing for the fire damage, and the fire damage is pretty substantial, so. Now there's another giant depraved across this bridge. So we want to take a little bit of care. I'm going to try to get both these guys with one hit. Yeah, they weren't close enough together. Now we have that giant depraved in there. Again, as long as you keep your distance and go slow, even with a mage in this world, you can do all right, because we are actually at the end of this world. We have nothing but a fog gate and a boss fight. So, and this boss is extremely susceptible to fire damage. So, like I said, if we had Firestorm with us, he would be a simple, easy one-shot. But we're going to try this with Fire Spray. That way we can kind of keep moving around, and we should have enough in one pull to take him out. One pull of FP. He does do some physical damage, but we can target lock onto him from a safe location and cast at him, and he shouldn't be able to hit us. But we'll take our precautions anyway. All right. Forgot to put my spell on fire spray, but that's okay. So if we take this first little point right here and drop down, yeah, I didn't figure it was going to be a problem to take care of him. There's also, if I remember right, you can also stand here and you're fairly protected from those leech balls that he throws at you. They do some damage. So now the annoying part of this is working your way down this giant cylinder down to where he's at. Oh, I missed it. Went the wrong way. I usually just drop all the way to the bottom of the chasm, but there's a path you can follow. If you stay up against the wall, you're generally fairly safe. Okay. Now this water is not poisonous, so we can run around in this. That's our archstone. Usually there's a few more items down here than that, but anyway, so that's it for the Leechmonger. Now his soul, when we go talk to Sage Freck, will give us Poison Cloud, which has some applications in the game. A couple of them, but it's a slow acting spell and it does work on a couple of bosses. So if we run over here real quick and talk to Freck.
Bravo. Thank you for offering your demon souls. I cannot express my gratitude enough. Oh, to have my wish granted at so late an age. Thank you. You are a fine magician. As promised, let me teach you new magic.
So now we have access to Poison Cloud. Alright, so that's taken care of. Now, this is why 2 playthroughs are mandatory minimum to get the spells trophy, because we've already used the Dragon God's soul. So we've got to go get it again, and we've got to go get the Monk's soul again. So these spells unlock and become visible once you have this soul, and then they're kind of purple and red because you don't have the soul in your inventory or your storage anywhere. So which means another playthrough.
Bring me more demon souls when you can. I patiently await you, my fine magician friend.
All right, and that will wrap up this episode on the Deprived Chasm. And on the next one, we will do Swamp of Sorrows, which is, I'd say, the number one hated zone of the vast majority of players. As always, please like and subscribe, and happy demon hunting.